So you're thinking about getting a Bengal cat, and whether this cat breed is right for you. With their wild looks and playful energy, Bengal cats can be incredible companions. I am the Cat Butler, and this is my two Ragdoll cats, Teemo and Arya. Today, we will discuss the pros and cons of getting a Bengal cat with Robyn and John, Bengal breeders who have worked with the breed for over 2 decades.
Hi, I'm Robyn.
And I'm John.
Together, we have operated Quality Bengal Kittens. And that first hug, it just felt like I had known him forever.
Over that time, we actually realised that we had developed more than just a normal breeder relationship, and we kind of fallen for each other. Oh, okay, sorry.
So I'm supposed to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh gosh, I hate starting.
Bengals tend to be very affectionate cats because they are incredibly sociable. They want to be with their people all the time. The worst thing in a Bengal's mind is to be completely alone with no company. So their ideal is that you are going to be around, or that there's going to be someone to interact with, in order that they can both play and show their affection to you. When you have a happy and well socialised Bengal, they will snuggle with you, they will follow you around the house, wherever you go. Basically, if you're awake and doing something, they want to be with you. And when you sit down, they should want to come and snuggle with you, just shower you with affection, or just keep you really warm by snuggling up on you. And generally, as long as they're getting plenty of playtime every day, they will come and sleep in the bed with you, and they'll be there for the whole night.
I've met many Bengals at different cat shows, but Robyn and John's Bengals are noticeably more affectionate, and they have a secret to achieving that loving personality.
We learned through observation about 10 years ago that the male cat's personality actually has a larger impact on the kittens than the female cats. The male cat has what's kind of considered the boldness gene, and he determines how much confidence is going into the kittens. So we decided years ago to only use super friendly, super bold males. And through that, we have really made consistently sweet, loving temperaments on our cats, which we're very proud of, because really it's temperament that is going to keep the cat in its home forever. And so it makes us happy to be producing these wonderful temperaments.
The downside to the Bengal personality can be that if they are left alone for periods of time, they can really struggle with separation anxiety. They need to have company and some structure to their day. So if you work outside the home all day and there's no one home, it really is important for them to have a companion. It doesn't have to be another Bengal. It can be any active breed of cat, as long as it is an energetic cat, because it has to be one that's going to be able to keep pace with these guys, which, there is an advantage to having a second Bengal because the energy level tends to be very similar. But you can find that in other breeds if you look closely into those breeds before making your selection. It can also be a dog. Bengals have a lot of fun with dogs too, as long as it's a dog that wants to play with them.
One of the pros of owning a Bengal is its energy level. This is a cat who is always going to be awake. You often hear about cats sleeping, 18 to 20 hours out of a day, and not Bengals. The energy level makes them ideal for families with active lifestyles. Whether you're a family who wants to take their cat to the soccer game, or you're somebody who wants to take your cat out on a hike or camping, boating even, on your kayak. These guys are up for that challenge. You'll often see pictures of them or videos of them out in the wilderness, and they love it. So if you're looking for a cat who will join you on your adventures, the Bengal is the right breed for you.
You might want to hold it slightly further out. Bengals can have a reputation for being destructive, and that reputation comes generally from Bengals not being provided with enough stimulation to keep them mentally or physically satisfied. That destruction comes as a way for them to vent their frustrations and find a way to entertain themselves. So to avoid that, what you want to do is provide some consistency in their lifestyle. If you plan to harness train, it can't be something that you do once a month or every now and then. If you're going to take your cat out on walks, you want to do that as a regular routine so that they know and they can be prepared for the mental and physical outlet of that. Same goes for daily playtime. We would advise minimally 2 15 to 20 minute sessions of play a day, one in the morning before all the daily activities and one later in the day, so if they can rely on that as a predictable time that they can get their energy out. Otherwise, they're inclined to find their own fun, and that's not always fun for us. Health-wise, the Bengal breed tends to be pretty healthy. They are very active, energetic cats, and that's something that you definitely want to watch for as a good sign of health. Thankfully, they are a breed that's kind of shaped by nature. So when you look at some breeds of dogs and some other breeds of cats that have been very physically modified from the natural cat plan, that's when you often see health issues come in, because you're shaping that structure away from the way that they would naturally move. Again, the Bengal is shaped to look like how a wild cat would in nature, and that really helps because they haven't got any changes to their skull formation or their body formation, so physically they tend to move very well and not have any of the health associated issues that go along with that. Again, health-wise, they should be very active, very lithe and muscular, so it's very unusual to see a Bengal that's overweight. They tend to be very lean, very athletic all the time. Other things that are really good about their health, again, goes back to the genetic diversity that we talked about. And the genetic diversity brings in a lot of health, because the more variation in the gene pool, the more likelihood that they won't have things doubling up that cause problems. When it comes to cons for health, there are a couple of things that we have to watch for in breeding programs. There's two that are really easy to avoid, which are genetically testable. One is PRA, which is progressive retinal atrophy, where the retina on the back of the eye begins to detach and degrade over time. It usually happens quite young, and it will cause cats to go blind before they're a year old in general. The other one is PK deficiency, which is a type of genetically inherited anemia, where over time their ability to produce red blood cells degrades, and they can start to have anemia brought on by any periods of stress or trauma. Those things, though, are both genetically testable, and so when you're looking for a breeder, it's very easy to ask for test results on the cats that they have in their breeding program. There's no excuse for any breeder in this day and age to not be testing for those things, so that's very easy to avoid. The one that is more risky in all cat breeds, but in Bengals as well, is HCM, which is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a form of heart disease where the heart muscle wall thickens over time and reduces the capacity to pump blood. That will eventually lead to congestive heart failure. There is not yet a genetic test in the Bengal breed for that, so the only thing that we can do as breeders to try and prevent that is do echocardiograms on our breeding cats, which we will do every 12 to 18 months, and that allows us to see if there's any signs of any problems before they become a major problem and pass on to the next generation. But because we don't have a genetic test for that, we have to follow our cats' hearts for several years. And so, again, looking at breeders, it's important to look for breeders who follow up their cats' hearts for multiple years. Don't just test them once or twice when they're young, because heart disease can develop throughout life, and most times it's going to develop in the first 3 to 5 years, but it can develop up to the age of 8 years old. And so we try and test all our breeders. In our program, we test our breeders up until the age of 8. And then the last kind of thing that can be seen in the Bengal breed is an issue called Bengal polyneuropathy, which is when the sheaths of the nerves, usually in the legs, sometimes in the tail, start to lose their covering, and it can cause some degree of paralysis or pain in those nerves. They found that certain lines have a connection to it. So again, that's where diversity plays a role. The more genetic diversity that's in a cat, the less likely it is to have this issue. Thankfully, we seem to have selected it out of our program over the years by carefully avoiding the certain lines that we've seen that have the issue. And that's one of the reasons that we feel really confident to have a 5-year health guarantee on our kittens.
We offer a 5-year health guarantee because of the work we do with genetic diversity and with HCM testing. We've been HCM testing our cats for over 20 years, and we are breeding our own lines down. So the cats we're breeding today are descendants of the cats we were breeding 20 years ago. And as John mentioned, we heart test our cats to the age of 8. And it's at 8 years old that cardiologists feel that a cat is disease-free.
So we're seeing our average age of our kittens that go off to new homes based on some of our older cats being 15 to 19 years, but we know of several that are 17 plus years and still going strong. By selecting for genetic diversity and then also testing hearts, which is a really important part in any cat breed, we can try and make sure that the cats will have as long and healthy of a life as possible. Coat maintenance wise, the Bengal is really, really easy to maintain. Because they don't have an undercoat, they do not shed much, and so they will shed their coat out annually once, but it tends to be for a couple of weeks where they'll have some hair loss.
Another benefit of the Bengal coat, because it has that single layer coat that doesn't have the downy undercoat, is they are considered to be hypoallergenic. Now, hypoallergenic doesn't mean that they're allergy free. It means that they're less likely to produce allergens and people are less likely to have a reaction to them. Also, a lot of the Bengals have a glitter on their coat, which makes their coat even slicker. So the allergens don't stick to their coat as much as they may stick to other coats. So one of the traits that the Bengal is most well known for is its intelligence. It really is an intelligent cat, and it is considered to be one of the most trainable cats. So if you are looking for a cat that you can clicker train, or you could train it to do tricks, you could harness train it, you could train it on the talking buttons, the Bengal is the cat for you. They want their mind engaged, and it really helps them to live a happy and satisfied life to be trained in some way. So how you decide to do that training is your call, but it really adds to the cat's quality of life to be trained. So one of the things about Bengals that a lot of people consider unique and fun is that they are talkative cats. So you can encourage them to be more talkative by responding to them when they talk to you. And they have some pretty cool voices. They trill and chirp when they see birds outside, and they can make some unique vocalizations. So a lot of people find that fun about the Bengal breed.
There can, however, be a con with that, which is some Bengals can be very, very vocal. And usually we find if they're being vocal for any reason, it's usually because, again, they're not having their energy needs met or they're not mentally stimulated enough. So, like with so many aspects of Bengal personality, if you can provide enough mental and physical stimulation, they tend to be much quieter. But there is some variation, and we've noticed over the years that certain lines that we've worked with are more vocal than others. We personally find it can be a little bit overwhelming if you've got a cat that is vocal all the time, because you don't always know exactly what it is they want, and it can kind of be like living with a baby that's crying all the time if you have a cat that just meows for no obvious reason. So we have actively in our breeding program selected away from it by not keeping the lines that tend to be more vocal, to keep our cats for our breeding program that don't make as much noise, because over the generations we have found that they are less and less noisy, and so generally, unless there's something wrong or they're really needing something, they don't tend to meow very much in our house, which is really nice.
The care, socialization, and environment a cat experiences early on can also shape its personality. Everything from its confidence and friendliness later on in life.
We want them growing up inside our home with us, because that's how they're going to live in people's homes. We have dogs, so they have that interaction with dogs. That is kind of how we raise our kittens, so that they grow up learning how to be well-socialized cats in other people's homes.
I hope this video helped you decide whether a Bengal cat is the right cat for you. And if you're interested in getting a Bengal cat, you should check out Robyn and John's Bengal Cattery, Quality Bengal Kittens. They raise some of the healthiest, most beautiful, and affectionate Bengals I've ever seen. They really go above and beyond with genetic and heart testing to ensure their cats stay healthy. I'll link their cattery in the description below. Comment down below, what are your experiences of owning a Bengal cat?